What's the matter with you?
Nothing.
No. Don't give me that. I know you. Something's wrong. What is it? What happened?
I did something stupid.
All right, guys. So it's time for the big surprise. I've alluded to the possibility of getting a new engine put in the 80 Series Land Cruiser, and tonight we've arrived at our destination to pick up the new donor vehicle for the engine. So pretty excited. I should be able to get around 50 miles a gallon. I had a little four banger here from the Prius, so it was only like $500 and should make a pretty good off-road vehicle, as well as you know, getting pretty good fuel mileage when I swap the Prius engine into the Land Cruiser. So just kidding. We picked up a second gen Cummins, of course, like we said we were going to. This is a two-wheel drive. It's got some issues with it, but we're just basically buying it for the drivetrain. So I'll show you real quick. Yeah, the door doesn't actually close that well. Yeah, so it's not in good shape. This has been a farm truck. 449,000 miles. But it's got it where it counts. Forgot it's a stick, obviously, so I have to push the clutch in. Install. Yeah, the inside is just trash pretty much, but I'm not really worried about the inside. Well, I figured I'd just finish the video off here in the day, take it for a little drive, show you how it shifts through gears. Last night we were driving home, and it was a little sketch. I thought for sure, you know, like if you looked at the truck from like the back, it looks exactly like an episode of Cops. You know, I thought for sure I was going to get pulled over. So as you can see here, the sheriff found us on the highway. I had my brother following behind me. Obviously, this thing just looks like a mess. There's no license plates, no tailgate. It's just a complete mess, you know, going down the road. So he pulled up next to me, and I thought for sure I was getting pulled over.
Pull over! Huh? Pull over! No, it's a cardigan, but thanks for noticing.
I do have insurance on it, but there's no registration, obviously. And pulled up next to me, and I have my window down because I'm giving hand signals, you know, for the for my turn signals, and I basically just motioned to him. I'm like, I'm pulling over. I'm getting off. You know, this truck will never see the light of day again. It's basically going to get the engine pulled in my garage, and then this thing's going to the scrapyard. So it's not like this is going to be, you know, on the road ever again. He didn't know that, but you know, he gave me a break, which was pretty cool. So why the Cummins swap for the Land Cruiser? Well, I think it's actually a perfect swap for the Land Cruiser because the amount of gear that I've added onto it probably weighs about 6,500 pounds. And I need the extra torque in order for it to get going up hills and such. I just feel like the Cummins is a really good candidate for the Land Cruiser, being that in other countries it came with the 1HDT. I don't know all the engine codes, but in Australia they have all the different variants of the non-turbo, the naturally aspirated, and the turbocharged diesel engine. So I think it's just a natural inclination to be able to, or to want to swap a diesel into these. A little bit about this truck. This is a 94, so this is the first generation where they switched to the P pump, which is basically just a mechanical fuel pump gear driven, and it's going to have 6 individual plungers to get the fuel delivered to the cylinders, as opposed to the VE, which only has it's a rotary pump. So it's been kind of the go-to as far as, you know, horsepower gains, talking like 2,000 horsepower trucks. Of course, I'm not going to be planning to do anything near that high horsepower for my Land Cruiser, but I do like the ability to add governor springs, which basically allows you to get more fuel in the 3,000 to 4,000 RPM range and adjust the fuel pin and whatnot. And this particular truck is unmolested. It does not have any of the fuel pump messed with, so that is a huge advantage. This is going to be a lengthy build. I will be doing every single thing that you need to do in order to swap this into a Land Cruiser. The next thing we're going to be doing, obviously, on this is taking the engine and the transmission out. Obviously, this has the 5-speed NV4500, not the automatic, and I did want the stick, so I'm very happy with this purchase. Again, I found this for just an unbelievable price, so I had to pick it up. This is not a full restoration project. This is a get it done for the engine and the drivetrain, basically. So we're going to be rebuilding the transmission. We're going to be rebuilding the engine and several other components, but for now, we got the truck, we got the price that we wanted. So this is the P pump that I was talking about right here. So this is all one big assembly for the fuel pump. It's quite large as far as fuel pumps are concerned. It's hard to see, but behind this oil neck filler, there is a gear that's attached to this fuel pump, and that's what's going to drive your fuel, very high PSI. Each one of these has individual plungers and then individual lines going to each of the cylinders where the injectors are. Here is how that works. These are the valve covers, obviously, the intakes, or intake, excuse me, and it does have a heated intake, like a kind of a ceramic heater or something like that, that takes from your 12-volt battery, so it does preheat the air. Yeah, the stock whole set turbo. Again, this fuel pump is as they say, unmolested. So there's tamper-proof screws on the back here, so that you know if it's been tampered with. This particular one has not. Again, 440,000 miles is a lot, but you know, these engines have been proven to go, you know, more than like 1 million miles. So, and taking all the peripherals, you know, the master cylinder, you know, not the brakes, I'm sorry, but I think that's the brakes. I don't even know. All you Cummins guys are looking at me like I'm an idiot, but anyways, lots to come on this. Next thing is going to be yanking the engine out of here. I'm waiting to see if I can get a garage for it, or if I'm gonna have to do it in my own garage, which would not be ideal, but you know, we're gonna make it happen. So I'm very passionate about this. I'm very excited to get it into the Land Cruiser and go over every single thing that you need to do in order to swap it into an 80 series Land Cruiser. Once we pull the engine, we're going to take the head off, examine the cylinders. We're going to have the head, you know, machined, maybe look at the valves. I might just do some hand lapping, which I did for the 1FZ engine on the Land Cruiser. But with the rebuild, will probably consist of, depending on the condition of the engine and if the cylinders are warped, is new rings, new bearings, new valve stem seals, and some other things. But I'm gonna kind of try and make this not a budget build. Obviously, this is gonna cost a lot of money, which is why it's going to be done in stages. But that's the gist of it. Like I said, I do want to add 3K governor springs to the fuel pump, which is going to allow for higher, it's going to allow for fuel delivery at higher RPMs, and a fuel plate. So you can get rid of the fuel plate, you can cut it, you can add an aftermarket one. I drive for Uber and Lyft, so it's going to be non-stop working to pay for the parts to swap this into the Land Cruiser. So I'm going to go ahead and get back to work, but until next time, I'll see you on the trails.